When people talk about Singapore, they often describe it as one of the most diverse and peaceful countries in Asia, a place where people from different ethnicities and religions live side by side, harmoniously sharing the same space. It's a nation that proudly celebrates its multicultural identity, Chinese, Malay, Indian, and Eurasian communities forming the foundation of its society. But if you spend enough time here, if you live beyond the skyscrapers and clean streets, you might notice something deeper, something subtle. Racism exists here too, but it feels different. It's not the loud, aggressive racism we often hear about in the West. It's quieter, layered, and sometimes even hidden behind politeness and social order. So, what makes racism in Singapore different? Let's explore this complex reality together. A nation built on diversity and control. Singapore's story is unlike most. When it gained independence in 1965, it was a fragile mix of communities with strong ethnic identities and very different languages, cultures, and religions. To prevent chaos, the government built the country around one idea: racial harmony through structure and control. From housing to education, policies were designed to keep every group visible, represented, and integrated, but also carefully managed. For example, Singapore's famous HDB housing policy ensures that every neighborhood has a fixed ratio of Chinese, Malay, and Indian residents. This prevents racial enclaves and forces interaction across communities, something very few countries have achieved. Yet, this social engineering also creates invisible boundaries. People coexist peacefully, but sometimes without truly mixing. There's tolerance, but not always deep understanding. Everyday racism, subtle, not shouted. In Singapore, racism rarely explodes into public violence or hate crimes. Instead, it appears in small gestures, quiet remarks, or the way people perceive others. Some minorities, especially Malays and Indians, have shared experiences of being stereotyped during job interviews, in rental housing, or even dating. Comments like, "We prefer Chinese applicants," or "This unit already taken," are common hints that discrimination can be hidden beneath polite words. It's not the kind of racism you can easily prove, but it's one you can feel. People often describe it as systemic politeness hiding quiet bias. You won't hear slurs in the street, but you might feel a social distance that's harder to name. The role of language and class. Another unique layer of racism in Singapore connects to language and class. English is the official working language, but Mandarin, Malay, and Tamil hold cultural weight. Some Singaporeans subconsciously judge others based on how they speak, their accent, fluency, or choice of language. A strong, Singlish accent might lead others to assume someone is less educated. A darker-skinned person speaking perfect English might surprise people, and that surprise reveals something uncomfortable. Then there's the class divide. Foreign workers from Bangladesh, India, or Myanmar often face prejudice not just because of race, but because of social status. While wealthy Western expats are praised as talent, Southeast Asian migrants are often seen as labor. So, in Singapore, racism and classism often walk hand in hand. Government stance: zero tolerance, or silent pressure. Singapore's government maintains a strict zero-tolerance stance on racial and religious hate speech. Online, anyone caught making racist remarks can face heavy fines or even jail time. This strict approach keeps peace, but it also discourages open conversations. Many Singaporeans avoid talking about race altogether, fearing they might say something wrong. As a result, racism isn't denied, but it's often unspoken. People quietly agree to maintain harmony rather than discuss what makes them uncomfortable. This silence is powerful. It protects peace, but it can also delay progress. Because when racism can't be talked about openly, it can't be challenged deeply either. Interracial friendships and real bonds. Despite these challenges, Singapore still stands out as one of the most peaceful multi-ethnic societies in the world. Walk through a hawker center, and you'll see Chinese, Malay, and Indian families eating at the same table. Schools promote multicultural festivals where students wear different traditional clothes and learn each other's languages. Many Singaporeans grow up surrounded by diversity from day one. For them, celebrating Deepavali, Chinese New Year, and Hari Raya together isn't unusual, it's just life. This daily exposure makes Singapore's multiculturalism incredibly resilient. Even if racism lingers in the background, it rarely turns into hate or violence. People know they're stronger together, that survival, peace, and progress depend on unity. Social media, a mirror and a megaphone. In the digital age, conversations about race have found a new home: social media. Younger Singaporeans are increasingly vocal about issues like microaggressions, racial profiling, or representation in media. Platforms like TikTok and Instagram have become spaces where Singaporeans discuss difficult topics their parents avoided. For example, when incidents of racial discrimination occur, like a landlord refusing to rent to Indian or Malay tenants, people online don't stay silent. They debate, educate, and push for change. This new generation doesn't want a pretend harmony. They want real equality. That's what makes racism in Singapore so unique. It's not static. It's evolving, being redefined, and slowly being challenged by voices that refuse to hide behind politeness. Immigrants and foreigners, a different lens. For foreigners living in Singapore, the experience of racism feels both familiar and different. Western expats often feel privileged, they are treated with respect, high salaries, and admiration. Meanwhile, South Asian or Southeast Asian migrants may face prejudice in everyday situations, from restaurants to workplaces. Filipinos, Bangladeshis, and Indians have shared experiences of being stereotyped, sometimes as domestic workers, sometimes as construction laborers, regardless of their real profession. It's not always open hostility, but it's a reminder that skin tone and nationality still shape perception. Yet, Singapore remains one of the few places in Asia where people from over 200 nationalities can live, work, and thrive together in relative peace. That balance, between inequality and opportunity, is part of what makes this city so complex. The unspoken truth. So, when people say, there's racism in Singapore, they're not entirely wrong. But it's not the kind that screams in your face. It's not violent. It's structural, quiet, polite. It exists within systems, in hiring preferences, in stereotypes, in the way people talk about others when they think no one's listening. Singapore's success story depends on keeping harmony at all costs. And while that harmony is real, it sometimes comes at the price of honesty. To talk about racism here means walking a fine line between truth and taboo. A work in progress. At the end of the day, Singapore isn't a racist country, but it's not a perfect one either. It's a young nation still learning how to balance its multicultural ideals with human realities. It's built on the dream that people of every race and religion can live together, and for the most part, it succeeds. But like any society, it must keep evolving. Because true harmony isn't about silence or control, it's about understanding, empathy, and the courage to talk about what's uncomfortable. And maybe that's the real beauty of Singapore, not that racism doesn't exist, but that people here are learning, step by step, to face it differently.